Hi, everybody. This is Sayaji Dan, owner of One World Martial Arts Academy. And these videos are always intended for my students. And I always go live because I don't really care about polishing my videos and making them super fancy for YouTube views or I don't know. What do people use YouTube for than to pretend that they don't care about being famous, but really all they want to be is famous? But my videos are for my students. This video is a contentious video, and since my videos are public, there's a chance this might get out there and people might care about what I have to say. So I just wanted to let you know who I am and the fact that this is live streaming, and so we don't edit or anything when I do this stuff. So I might ramble a little bit. But I want to talk about the truth of online martial arts training. And the truth is, right now, if you want to do martial arts training, you're going to be training online, or you're going to be an idiot. And you're going to be risking your health and the health of everyone you know and love so you can train secretly with other people and spread the COVID-19 all over the place. Self-defense is a very important part of martial arts. And so if you are not practicing isolation right now and you are not defending yourself from harm of the COVID-19, you are not following the precepts of good martial arts. The end. Period. You're wrong. Okay, moving on. The truth of martial arts and online training. Here's the truth of martial arts and online training, everybody. The truth is there are people who say martial arts training online simply doesn't work. And there are people who say online martial arts training is great. And the fact of the matter is online martial arts training does not work. Also, online martial arts training works just great. It all depends. It all depends on what you're trying to get out of it. And are you being honest with yourself and your students? The fact of the matter is everybody's going online right now because we have to. Those of us that do this for a living have to continue to make a living. And the only way to do that is to teach students online because no one's allowed in my school. We're shut down here in Texas. It's illegal to have people in my school, and I wouldn't have them in my school even if it wasn't illegal because it would be irresponsible. So what do? We go online. We try to make enough money to survive. We try not to lose our houses. We try not to lose our businesses. We have to. It's our job, and that's what we're going to do. But here's the thing. Some of us have been doing this for a long time and suffering the slings and arrows of people telling us that it's ridiculous, it's fake, you're lying to your students, and all sorts of other things that are very, very negative. Those same people are now teaching online. So we have to get past that. And I like to believe that these people are now getting online because they had to and they hate it, but now they're starting to see that you really can do stuff online that's very effective and worthwhile. And I hope it changes their minds. I hope that they simply come to realize that they were thinking in a narrow avenue of what martial arts was, and that if you get outside the myopic view of whatever you think martial arts is and look at the bigger issues and the bigger canvas of what martial arts can be, that you'll recognize that training online has some very valid points to it. I've been providing my students in this school with online practice videos and online resources such as retraining, what we call retraining videos, where I went through techniques, I went through drills, I went through our forms, I went through our shadow boxing drills, I went through our physical fitness drills that we do for our sparring classes. Anything we could do alone, I videotaped them, and I've been doing this for about 7 years now, and it's been working fantastically. So online has been an integral part of my program since 2012, to be honest. And it works very well. Now, that's not online training. You see, a lot of people think online training is online videos. And as we're all discovering, it's not. It's online videos, it's Zoom classes, it's live streaming of Facebook and YouTube, it's question and answer periods, it's exchanging videos to look at people's techniques and forms. It's coming up with all sorts of great ideas. And for those of us that have been doing this for a while, this unfortunate time is actually creating a whole lot of innovation because there's a whole lot of very desperate people trying to create online programs who don't really know how it's done. And so they're just doing it, and they're doing it very well. The rule of thumb I would give to you if you're looking for an online class right now and you're not with us, is look for a school that has a great reputation. If a school has a great reputation, they're going to create a great online program. That's because their teachers are good, their programs are good, and they care about their students. If you look at a school that brags about how many students they have, you might not want to join that online program. You might want to take a close look at it. Maybe it's great, I don't know. But that would be a little warning to me if I saw that. But so what is online training and how do we online train martial arts? Well, like I said, there's people who love it and there's people who absolutely hate it and say it's worthless. And most of the time, it's because people think martial arts is this one very specific thing. Martial arts is self-defense. You can't teach self-defense online. You have to get in there and mix it up with people. You've got to live stress test these techniques. They're right. You do. You absolutely do. It's like the same as the image I like to give is I like to talk about fishing. I can't teach you to catch a bass in your living room, but I can teach you in your living room how to go out and catch a bass, right? If I was teaching fishing, I can't do that because I don't know how to fish at all. But I have some friends who do, and they talk about bass fishing like I talk about martial arts, which is to say within an hour or so, my eyes glaze over and I go, are we still talking? And I'm sure they feel the same way about me when I talk about martial arts. But you can teach self-defense movement, you can teach theory, you can teach some application. But until people can get together and start testing these techniques, until you can get your rod and reel and the lures and find the spot where you want to fish, you can have all this theory of where to go, what time of day to go, what lures to use, what rods to use. You can have all that stuff for fishing, but until you get out there and try it, it's just theory. So they're right. In self-defense online, you're teaching theory. If you can train with a partner, then you can start doing application. And then if you can train application, you can start stress testing and doing it with more resistance. And then you are essentially doing what everybody does in here. You just have a limited pool of people to train with, which is a negative. The more people you can train with, the better off you'll be when this stuff happens, if it ever happens. So they're right. You can't teach self-defense online, one-on-one, just in a video. You can't, but you can teach the application this much, but you can teach all the theory. You can teach techniques. Same thing with sport. For people who think martial arts is about beating up other people inside of a ring or grappling people to the ground and choking them out, and they think that's what martial arts really is, that's okay. They're sport-oriented martial arts. And they say you cannot do sport online. They too are absolutely right. You cannot, because just sport requires two people. The training requires two people. You have to be sparring, you have to be rolling, you have to be fighting, you have to be taking shots. But sport really comes down to about three different things. The great aspects of sport is one of the things sport teaches you is how to take pain and keep fighting through it. Can't do that online. Another thing it teaches you is range, distance, thinking while fighting against a moving opponent. Okay, can't do that online. That's 2/3 of sport you can't do online. So they're right, 2/3. You miss 2/3 on a test, you get a 33% and an F. So sport is limited. But you can teach punching drills, bag work, heavy bag work, tie bag work. If you do have a partner, you can do focus mitt work, you can do kicking shield work, you can do all the physical fitness and stamina that sport brings to the table. That is crucial. And that you can absolutely 100% do at home. You can train your punching. You can correct punching. You can make your punches better. You can teach technique. You can also get physically fit. That's hugely important. And so while stuck online, you're going to find a lot of sport-oriented gyms going to let everybody buy a bag. Everybody start doing bag work. Here's a punching bag workout. Here's a kicking bag workout. Okay, here's a standing bag workout. Here's a bob bag workout. Okay, here, tie these 7 sticks to your bag and start doing all your other stuff. These are nice bag workouts. But the idea behind it is you're working technique and you're getting physically fit. You're working out. So it's kind of like cardio kickboxing, but an emphasis on the kickboxing instead of the cardio. The cardio is just a pleasant side effect, but you're still working with good technique, good movement. You can work movement drills in narrow spaces. You can work shadow boxing. You can do all that stuff. We do all that stuff, and it's great. You can work agility drills. You can work basic stepping, punching. You can work from very, very beginners all the way up through advanced, and you can do it. We do it all, and behind us on this little mat that is 6 foot by 6 foot, it's 36 square feet. We try to constrain ourselves to our drills because we know a lot of people training at home right now, that's all they've got. So, sounds like can't train online very well. There's a whole lot missing. 1/3 of sport, only half or 1/3 of self-defense. So what's the point? Well, the point is there's a whole lot more to martial arts than that, okay? There's a whole lot more to sport than that. In the martial arts community, there's also competitions with forms, aka, kata, whatever you want to call them. You can train that 24 hours a day at home. You can train your drills. You can train weapons forms a little harder. Start breaking your ceiling fans. You know, we get it. It's harder. But online doesn't necessarily mean in your living room. You can go out in your backyard, right? Good online programs like ours, you can watch on your cell phone. You can watch on your tablet. You can take Zoom classes. You can take live stream classes. You can just watch the videos at any time it's convenient for you. And that brings me to one of the other things. The huge positive of training at home right now and training online is you can train 2 times more than you normally do, 3 times more than you normally do, 5 times more than you normally do. The only limit is how much time you have in your day. There's no more commuting. There's no more, oh, it takes me 45 minutes to get to the gym. I train for 2 hours and 45 minutes to get home. Well, now you can just train for 3.5 hours. Pretty nice. So that's a huge bonus of training online. Now, you need to be training with people. You cannot just train video. We all know that. If you just train video, you're going to train yourself bad techniques. You're going to train bad habits. You need to get in front of people. You need to share it. You need to look at Zoom classes. You need to talk to your instructor. You need to send videos to each other. You need to look at each other while you're training on your Zoom class. And you need to do as much interaction as possible. Training by yourself from day one is not optimal. So, good news is all the martial arts schools doing this now are recognizing, holy cow, I don't have a video program. I have to go live. I have to do Zoom. I have to come up with exercises for 6-year-olds so they don't quit. What am I going to do here? Oh, let's play with pillows. Nobody has focus mitts yet. You know, my parents don't know how to hold focus mitts. Oh no. So they're going back and they're trying all these new things. And for those of us that have been doing it a while, it's a smorgasbord of new ideas. It's fantastic and I love it. I just wish it was happening for a better reason. But let's get to the third, what we call the high art in martial arts, perfection of character. So for me, that's always been the main point of martial arts. I've always believed if you really care only about self-defense, train weapons, including firearms. I've always believed if you really care about sport, join a gym and train the sport. Do Muay Thai or Lewe. Do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Do shoot wrestling. Do Sambo. Do Greco-Roman wrestling. Do kickboxing. Do boxing. Pick the sport and train in it. If you really love the sport, do the sport. For me, since I was 8 years old, martial arts has been about developing self-control and perfection of character. Now, I've been doing it since I was 8. I'm almost 48, and my character has a long way to go. Okay, it's a never-ending journey. But I'd like to think I'm a better person today than I was yesterday, which ultimately is the goal of martial arts as far as I'm concerned, to be better today than you were yesterday. And online training with a caring instructor, like I said, if you've got a good program and they're going to online, their online program is going to be good because it's about the instructor and it's about the care they have for their students and the honesty and integrity they're going to have about what they can actually teach and not promise things like, I'm going to teach you how to do this move. You're going to do it in the air and then you're going to be able to armbar anybody. No, you're not. You're absolutely not. That's ridiculous. But you can at least train punching and striking and knees and elbows and headbutts. And if you have a partner, if you're of an age where you can train with a partner, you can practice some trapping, grappling, throws. I don't know. You start to get crazy. People start to get hurt because they're not under the close supervision of an expert. So I don't teach any of that right now online. But that's just my personal opinion. I don't want to be teaching people 12 years old throwing each other in the house. Just no, thank you. So I don't teach any of that. We do mostly standing work right now, but that's it. You adapt. You adapt to the things that do work. You talk about what it means to learn how to throw punching combinations in the air, as opposed to hitting the bag, as opposed to hitting the focus mitts, as opposed to hitting an opponent. And you take it as far as you can. So with a lot of my students, we hit in the air, we hit focus mitts, and we hit heavy bags. That's as far as we can go. So that's what we teach. And we say, this is exercise. This is training good technique. Mentally, you have to be prepared for the concept that you're not learning range, you're not learning distance. We're working movement as best we can, but the bag's not moving too. So this is not real. This is training. But we train like that anyway, in person, before we add in movements and everything else. So we have to step back a little bit and think about basics. But what about the perfection of character? The discipline built from working a technique 1,000 times. Oh, totally can do that. It's even better to do that. You're bored. You're stuck at home. You're going stir crazy. Here in Austin, Texas, it's 80 degrees out. Go outside in your backyard and do your first kata 10 times, right? Film it on the first, film it on the 10th, and look at both of those filmings of yourself. Send them to your teacher if you got questions, but self-correct. Get out there and do it 10 more times. You can do all this online. It's a great opportunity to train. And if you're getting feedback from your instructor to prevent bad habits, I don't see anything wrong with it. It's worked for me for 7 years. My students are not developing bad habits at home training. They're fixing problems. They're getting better. So I have 7 years of anecdotal evidence that says it works. Okay, so I'm going to keep doing it. I'm just not going to tell my students that as they train when in our gross motor combatives, or we train in our anti-bullying program, that just learning the techniques is going to make you safe. Without stress testing and resistance testing, you're not going to be as good at these. You're not going to know if they're going to work or not. It is always better than not doing it. It's always better than nothing, but it's not optimal. Folks, we don't live in an optimal world right now. So if we want to argue and complain and say, oh, online training is stupid. No, it's really not stupid. Online training is fantastic. It's great. It works wonderfully for what it will do. Okay? Training internally, taking time, working on your focus, your discipline, your respect especially for youth right now stuck at home, focusing on being stuck at home and a disruption of routine, but remembering your focus, remembering your discipline, remembering your respect, remembering how those three combine and to create things like integrity, okay, and strength of character. That's really important. It's really, really important in martial arts. And those that forget that are missing out on what I believe is the most important aspect of martial arts. So the most important aspect of martial arts can absolutely 100% be taught online. That makes it worthwhile as far as I'm concerned. Feel free to disagree. Feel free to leave comments if you want. Feel free to talk to me and tell me how wrong I am. It's okay. I've got a pretty thick skin. I've been doing this for 40 years. However, don't set up a straw man argument. Don't tell me online training doesn't work because there's no way you can fight in the ring by training at home online. I just said I know that, and I already said that's true. But that's not martial arts. That's sport. We have it divided into 3 levels in our martial art. In the American Bando and in the international Bando, there is combat, sport, and high art. High, middle, and low. Low is combat, middle is sport, high is perfection of character. And all 3 combine to make martial arts. And online, you can definitely do this one, you can do part of this one, and you can do part of this one. And if you're honest with your students, there's absolutely no reason why you shouldn't do all of this one, part of this one, and part of this one online right now. There's no excuse not to be training right now. Get online, get training, maintain, work on fitness, more importantly, work on perfection of character. Thank you guys. If you don't choose my program, that's fine. Choose a program you trust from an instructor who's a quality instructor. Knock yourself out. Have a great time. I hope you all have a wonderful life, and I hope we get through this thing quick.